Hello, this week I want to talk to you about the fleet monitoring system. The fleet monitoring system was agreed to be fitted into vehicles by the Combined Fire Authority back in December 2016, which followed a review of our fleet arrangements looking at saving money as we move forward. Now, the idea of the system is to give detailed information in relation to how often we use vehicles, and the idea being that we can use this data to be able to help us see whether or not we need so many vehicles in the future. With the view of trying to reduce them and save money, of course. Now, fleet monitoring systems are not new. They've been around for quite a while. And what they effectively do, they are devices that fit into vehicles. They have a GPS locator and G-sensor technology within them, and they send detailed raw data, if you like, from each vehicle via the internet and translate all that into reports that are useful for the customer. So from our perspective, what does it give us? Well, first and foremost, it will give us an idea of just how often vehicles are being used by the day. It will give us how often they're being driven from location to location, to give us some idea in terms of the way that we use them. And the other thing it will give us as well is details in relation to who is driving vehicles, how many miles they've done, when they did them. It also looks at the issues of speed and location, and also looks at driver behaviour by looking at the way that the vehicle is handled from a viewpoint of steering and braking and accelerating. So, what does it mean to you as users? Well, first of all, the best thing about this fleet monitoring system will be that there is no longer a need for logbooks in any vehicle whatsoever. Instead, there'll be a fob, and when you get into the vehicle, you fob in onto the black box that's going to be located within the driver's area. That will then register you as the driver, and then when you drive the vehicle, it will know that you're doing business miles. It will know how many business miles you're doing. If you put your blue lights on and respond, it will then record that as blue light journeys, which is something that we've never had before, other than writing it in a logbook. And for provided vehicle users, there will be a separate switch which allows you to change the mileage type from business to private. So once again, all the things have been factored into to enable us to be able to remove the logbook. What about fuel entries? Well, Merridale now across the service area is fitted with a view that when we do fill up using the Merridale system, they're all electronically sending data back that we can use. So once again, we don't need to record that. And if you do fill up on your dial card, then we get reports every month from Allstar, which means that we get the raw data in terms of what you've spent and how many litres of diesel that you've put in. So again, all these things that the logbook did, we no longer need to use them. So the fob itself then, we wanted to use the same fob that we use for the door entry system, but it was going to cost another £26,000, and we didn't think that was good value for money. So instead, a separate fob will be issued to every employee, whether you drive vehicles as part of your normal daily routines or not, which will be uniquely identified to you so that when you do fob into a vehicle, it knows it's you. If you are an employee and you do get a fob, please keep it safe, because in the chance that you are lucky enough to drive one of our vehicles, you're able to then fob in as normal. So what happens if you haven't got your fob? And certainly this is applicable if you're on call, or maybe you've forgotten it somewhere around the station and you get an incident that you have to respond to. Well, you can still start the engines of the appliances up and you can still drive them, but what you will receive is a 1 minute audible warning that it's reminding you to actually fob in. You can just ignore that and carry on as normal, but the idea of that is to remind you that next time please remember your fob where you can, and it's probably worth attaching it to where your door entry fob is at the moment. I'll leave that with you. So installation of this equipment, it's quite an ambitious plan. It's going to take over 16 days to do the 10 vehicles a day that we're looking at, because we have about 154 vehicles in total that need to be fitted. We've really planned this with some detail. We're trying to reduce the number of vehicles that are off the run at any one time. We're looking to make sure that Dacre and Plus stations are not bothered in the early hours of the morning in relation to when their vehicle goes off the run. And also we're looking at the ability to bring in the provided vehicle users at times when they're actually at work without disrupting their diaries too much. But I recognise this is really ambitious. There's bound to be some clashes. And if you can't resolve those locally, then by all means please feel free to give me a ring. We're going to fit them, and in no order. At Loughborough, we're going to go to Colville, we'll be at Southern, and at workshops at Birstall. We're going to Central, Market Harborough, Oakham, and that, I believe, is it from memory. So you'll be looking out in the service matters where there'll be more details in relation to that, and also the definitive list of which vehicles will need to be where and roughly at what time, so that we can allow them to be fitted. In essence, we're looking at getting 5 vehicles there in the morning, 5 in the afternoon. There is a little bit of mix because some vehicles take longer than others, but please do what you can to help with this system being fitted and make it run smoothly. So with all this done, it will start in April 2019. There'll be further information coming through service matters along the way. Let's hope it works. Let's hope we can get everything fitted on time. But again, your help is needed with that, and I really appreciate the effort that you'll need to put in to achieve it for us. Thanks very much, and drive safely.